It's like, make sure I can you guys see me all right? Let's see here. I am right.
Hi.
Just like live in Wisconsin.
Oh, they can't see me.
Yep.
Okay.
First of
That's
all, how do
really
you
good.
pronounce the name of this?
Yeah, I'm not even.
Yeah, I got it.
It's called Webauwaca. It's a family recipe passed down from the Morivian Church. I don't know the particular history of the Morivian Church, but it's quite interesting. It's Eastern Europe. There's a large settlement in Green Bay area, Wisconsin.
Really, Webauwaca, that is very interesting because that is not a German. Moravian is German. And the Moravians as they started, but this is the Eastern Moravians, what were mostly Croats and Russians.
Yeah. So I couldn't hear you very well, but if you had a question, say it again. So, but what made you decide to pick these two recipes? Because it's actually two different recipes.
These are family recipes that we traditionally do as desserts, brunches for family gatherings, be it funerals, wakes, Easter. When the little cousins come home, they're always very excited when the yayas have made these particular brunchy desserts. They're not like super sweet. They're kind of like a fruit pastry. You can adjust how sweet they are. But yeah, berries is the feature of Webauwaca, usually fresh black caps from the woods, which are like blackberries. And the Danish Puff Pastry features almond flavoring and sliced almonds. And it's just a lovely, light, crunchy, kind of sweet dessert you can pair with, you know, eggs, proteins, and fruits. But yeah, they're just things that all of us kids loved having when our older generation would make it. So
now, can I mention that you were up at the butt crack of dawn picking berries?
I got up early to pick strawberries, which are not part of this recipe, but it's the season. So
Get them while you can.
So I deep froze them. Yeah, they're pretty coveted.
Just like get any berries, because berries aren't really, even though in modern society we can get them pretty regularly, it's not really something you can get all the time. So, but this is going to be strange for me to like stay out of your way. I really want to help, but just like I'm delegated to the sound and camera guy. So, all right.
Okay, so y'all can see me all right here.
Yeah.
How's my volume?
It's like perfect. Never too loud.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah. We got thumbs up.
Oh. All right. So I believe, does everyone have access to the recipe? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna start with 2 beaten eggs. I luckily have my own chickens. So I got.
I don't know. Luckily, that's like on purpose.
So here are the eggs.
Did you pick those this morning?
No.
But yesterday.
Oh my God, I almost did the wrong thing.
That's the compost bin.
I almost cracked them into the compost bin. Oh yeah.
But so you say you use day-old egg?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
You pick those.
It doesn't matter. So basically what this is almost like a pancake batter, not sweetened. And you only put berries on the top. And then you sprinkle the top with sugar. It's super quick. Not very technical at all. That's another reason I picked it, because it's super yummy, super easy.
So it's just like a very fluffy pancake?
No, we're done.
Okay. But it's just eggs and flour?
Yeah. So we're doing 2 eggs beaten, 1.5 cups milk. And like I said, it's really just kind of a pancake-esque recipe.
Little salt, a little baking powder.
And how much salt? Half teaspoon. I am not really a big measure. 2 cups flour. And honestly, with baking, you know, some people are like super particular about sifting and leveling.
You bake pretty regularly,
Yeah.
but
1 or 2 cups of flour. You can use that. I probably need a bigger bowl.
it's like you were thinking you were making this for yourself. Is this
Whatever.
the standard size you make, or no? That seems a lot.
This will always fill a 9x13 can.
Oh, okay,
Sorry about that. I didn't realize what I was doing.
it's just like, well, you got a whole stack of bowls, so you picked the smallest
I
one.
picked- well, not both of them.
But
Okay.
so far we got 2 eggs, 1.5 cups of milk, a half teaspoon of salt, and it says 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I have to emphasize because I mix up teaspoons and tablespoons, and I always mix up
All right.
baking
here's the
powder and baking
teaspoon.
soda. So baking powder,
Powder.
and then the 2
So
cups of
I
flour.
have the oven already going. You definitely want your oven on because this mixes up super quick.
But it's like a pancake, but you bake it.
So yes, there's no sugar in this. You're gonna, once we mix this, we're gonna put it in a 9x13 pan. You can grease it if it's metal. I'm using ceramic, and that usually comes out fine.
Really? You don't have to grease it?
That's nice.
Now you said baking powder?
Yes.
Yeah, so
2 teaspoons baking powder.
you just want to make sure the lumps are out. It doesn't have to be overmixed. Doesn't have to be anything fancy.
Well, I mean, you want to get most of the lumps out, right?
Well, with a pancake mix, you never want to overmix. With a pie crust, you never want to overmix. Overmixing, yeah, that's the art. I am doing it a little bit because I don't want it to not
Just like
be scared,
that'd be a little embarrassing.
right?
I
would
used
be
to.
eating my words. So honestly, we're about to dump this in.
So it was just 2 eggs, 1.5 cups of milk, a half teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 2 cups of flour.
There's no sugar, so this batter is not even yummy raw.
Just like, but you're gonna serve it with some powdered sugar and fresh berries on it.
No,
Oh,
no,
I'm-
stay tuned.
oh, stay tuned. I'm letting people know ahead of time. Just
You
like,
don't want to go yet.
just like, you want to see how yummy and gooey it looks, or
So I'll bring it over.
oh, you can see it on the camera really well.
Okay.
Yeah, just like,
Okay, so it's just a pancake batter. I'm just gonna make sure, give it time to just get level.
so you could make a zillion if you had enough dishes, cookie trays like the one over there. You could probably do 3 or 4 of those and feed a whole
It's
bunch of
not
people.
being baked on the cookie sheet, on the 9x13, the Webauwaca.
But I'm saying if we wanted to feed like a whole bunch of people, we could
Oh,
have a
you
whole
could
bunch
do-
of trays
Yes,
all at the
but
same
be
time.
careful, cooks. You know the rule with baking powder. Every time you double the recipe or triple it, you don't corresponding to the baking powder.
Oh, okay,
So doubling is safe. Once you get into the triple, quadruple,
don't,
you better not put 4 times as much baking powder.
okay.
I think there's some rules on Google you can Google.
It's
But you
just,
don't wanna. So it's like if you quadruple it,
But
I think you only put like, triple the amount of baking powder.
okay,
That's the one thing.
but this would be an easy way to make a whole bunch of pancakes. Like,
These aren't pancakes. This is Webauwaca.
just like, but like pancakes for me, like are like a lot of work.
Oh.
And so this would be a way I could feed a lot of people quickly.
Oh.
So I have a technical question.
Yep.
So can they see it okay?
Yeah.
Is it better if I hear?
Yeah, better close.
Better here?
So
Y'all
What-
can see that?
we got a technical question. Go
Oh,
for
what
it.
was
All right, so I'm scrambling to keep up. I saw you had your food processor out and I like mine's buried. So knowing that in
it?
advance.
That is not for this recipe. That's for the Danish puff pastry.
But she wants to get it out for the next
Oh.
recipe.
Yeah, you can get it out. If you want to do pie, yes.
Anyways, my question is, what are you putting this in? So the recipe you're making is exactly what Orr's been saying, the 1.5 cup milk, 2
Yeah.
cups flour. Now, do you put it in 2 separate dishes?
No, it's just
She
a
can't see this.
a 9
Can
by
you see the
12
9
pan.
by 13?
Oh, I saw that thing in the back of the stove and I thought that was
Oh,
another.
yeah, that's for the second recipe.
Okay,
Ignore
so
this.
and the
Just
size
like
of the pan again is what?
9 by 13.
And is
Yeah.
it floured or anything?
You're just your standard baking
9
pan.
by 13-ish doesn't have to be.
But is
perfect.
it flat, is it greased and floured to keep it from sticking?
No,
So-
No.
So I questioned about oiling it and she sprayed just a little oil, but it matters what
Ceramic.
kind of pan.
If you have a metal pan, go ahead and grease it.
And this is a ceramic one. She said
Oh,
ceramic,
I
you rarely, what?
screwed it up.
What'd you do?
You're supposed to melt butter in the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Where's the
Well,
butter?
I'm way behind, so I'm right on.
Perfect. There's no butter in the
I'm right
recipe.
with you,
It's in
Lulu.
the bottom of the pan.
Oh, but
I
it's not,
screwed up.
it's not in the ingredient list.
Had it.
Oh,
Just-
not in mine.
Get another, yeah, get.
Flour to melt butter in the bottom. I screwed up.
Okay.
This is
How
my
much
mom.
butter?
Your mom's gonna come out of and smack you upside,
Yeah, maybe I can melt butter. Tell them I forgot the butter part. We can probably pour it on top.
you know.
Oh,
How much
shit.
butter?
So what you do is you put some butter in the pan, put the pan in the oven to
I-
warm up real quick.
Yes.
And so the bottom has butter.
Can you tell them I forgot butter?
Yeah.
I'm going off my mom's recipe and it's not clear. Okay.
It's all handwritten.
So one's
what-
being behind schedule, actually, this might be.
Lulu's usually behind schedule and she's excited.
To melt butter in the pan, you would actually be doing it correctly. I'm gonna pick up the pieces and melt butter in the microwave and pour it over and hope it works.
Just
All
like,
right,
How-
so.
okay,
I'm
how much-
just
I
like,
screwed up.
and we actually don't have butter written down in the recipe, so I'll add it to the,
How
And maybe-
much
and maybe
butter?
It'll work out just fine.
how much butter you think?
I don't even know.
Yeah, just enough
Probably
to,
like a half cup, a half stick, but that's a lot of butter.
but
And
to
how much?
half stick.
I don't know, sorry. This requires a lot of butter and egg. to burn with
So just speak to me about the visual. I have the 9 by 13. I'm gonna put butter in the bottom, throw it in the oven to melt it.
Correct.
How deep or what do you want it to look like? And then I could estimate how much.
He's like, how much butter do you think it should be deep on the bottom?
Like, what's it gonna look like in the bottom of the pan when I pull it out?
A pool of butter.
A pool of butter.
Yeah, it's gonna have a lot of butter.
1/8 of an inch thick, 1/4 of an inch thick, 1/2 inch thick.
Probably half a stick, quarter.
Okay, she's doing a half a stick, quarter cup.
And then what's the temperature of the oven?
350 for the oven.
Okay, thank you.
And salted or unsalted butter?
Salted or unsalted. If it was salted, then don't put salt in the recipe.
Yeah, if it's salted, you don't, that's personal choice. Salted is fine. Unsalted is fine.
It's all right, you're a little frazzled.
No, I just like, it's still gonna be good. Trust me.
Just like that. But yeah, it's cool. If you look, if you can kind of see her little pad over there, it's a very finely written hand recipe from her mom. And this is in memory of her mom.
Yeah.
Oh,
So like,
That-
yeah, isn't that cool?
that coming across.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
no.
like, thank you for sharing your mom's recipe, but it is kind of hard to read.
But yeah,
It says
it says
pour,
melt butter in large pan.
but here it says
12
pour
and a
butter over batter. So you're
half.
doing.
Pour batter over butter.
It sounds like a tongue twister.
That's actually what it says, butter Oh, wait, batter over butter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, it's like,
It's gonna be good. Trust me.
just like,
You can't screw it up that much.
that's what I,
Okay, so we basically have basic sugarless batter, berry. I'm kind of doing this backwards, but I don't think it really mattered. I'm just gonna pour it over. It was supposed to be on the bottom, but I'm not worried about it. Maybe it's better.
just
Batter.
your better batter with butter on the top.
Yeah, you know, all this stuff.
It's just like,
You can't go wrong with sugar and berries and butter.
so this is, I was thinking it would be powdered sugar, but you're
No,
just put regular
We're
sugar.
using granulated sugar and we're going to sprinkle. Now this is where you can control the sweetness. My mom has 2 cups on it. That's a lot.
How much?
Just like
2 cups, but
But
you don't have to. I
your
2 cups
recipe
of
said
sugar.
3/4 of a cup,
know.
the one
And
you
that's-
sent me.
And that's 2 cups of blackberries?
Yeah, 2 cups is way too much. That's wrong. Oh, it's 2 cup berries.
Just like,
Uh,
so the recipe says 3/4 of a cup sugar.
Okay, got
That
it.
sounds like a lot.
it does, but the batter has nothing in it.
Okay. Well, this is fun because I mean, you could throw this together really quickly without screwing it up too
Wow.
much. Just-
Leave it to Leah to figure it out. So this is all I'm doing. I'm gonna put it in
oh,
the
that'll
oven.
caramel. That could caramelize.
It's like almost like a creme brulee.
Oh,
So just don't mix it anymore. This, you can add more berries, less berries. I've actually done it with red raspberries and lemon. Oh, yeah. So you can,
like a little lemon flavor in the batter.
I
Or?
think I did use lemon extract in the batter and red raspberries. No, I actually, you know how you take sugar and you rub it in the lemon rind?
Okay, so like
I
lemon
made-
flavored sugar.
I made the sugar lemony, and that's what I sprinkled on red raspberries of the same recipe, and it was amazing.
There you go.
So it was family recipe elevated.
Just like
Okay. So this is going in the oven,
that's like that.
and honestly, I have no idea how long it takes. There's no, it's probably 30 minutes, maybe 40, but I'm gonna put the timer for 30.
I mean, part of
You're
it is
gonna just look at
how moist the berries
You're
are.
just
Yeah.
gonna, you're gonna look at it. So is everyone caught up and we're ready to move on to Kringle?
No,
Or
I
Do you have
still
any
don't like
questions about
butter.
that one?
I'll be caught up in about 5 minutes or.
Yeah.
Okay. So so I am now melting the butter in the pan.
Yep.
And then after that, I will pour the batter. Is the batter really moist or is it?
Yes.
Thick.
Yes, because it has a cup and a half milk.
Huh.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks like it
It's
looked like pancake batter.
Pancake batter.
This is
Not
this is
thick.
what mine looks like. So is that
good.
It's gonna be pancake batter.
It's very
Yeah,
much
oh,
as
yeah.
if you were pouring it for pancakes.
That looks pretty sticky. Did you put a cup and a half?
I thought I had, but I'll add a little more just in
looks-
case.
Sticky. That looks really thick.
Okay, I'll add a little more.
Cup and a half milk, 2
And then-
cups flour, little salt, 2 eggs, little baking powder.
But it could be the size of the eggs too. You got some pretty big eggs from your chickens.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Well, pretty
And
thin.
then, okay, then I pour this in the pan and just put it in the oven, right?
Well, you put the berries and the sugar on top.
Oh, you put that on
Sprinkle
top.
the berries on, okay, melted butter, batter, sprinkled berries, sprinkled sugar, throw it in the oven.
You forgot
Okay.
berries.
I said berries.
Got it.
Okay. But it's basically pancake batter in a buttered pan with berries and sugar on top.
Okay, this
Okay.
was, that was the easy recipe. I'm trying to push this along to the next one because it's a little more involved and more technical. That was just to warm you up.
Just like, that's so simple. How do you actually pronounce it again?
Webauwaca,
Webauwaca?
like Webauwaca. Chewbacca,
It's like, okay,
Chewbacca.
And I'm using June berries.
June berry.
Wonderful. I love the deviation. I love it.
I don't
Any
think,
berries,
I don't think strawberries would go. They turn to
Yeah,
mush.
strawberries would be a bit, this would be good. With very stiff berries, like, yeah, blackberries, red raspberries.
Blueberries?
Possibly, yes, blueberries.
Because
I
they
like-
hold the
I
moisture in.
think, yeah, lemon, blueberry is a popular flavor profile. It would work
Plums.
for, it's basically like a berry cobbler, but it's super fast, easy.
Nice.
It's just like,
So throw that in the, has everyone got it in the oven?
Not yet, but don't worry, I'll catch you.
Yeah, I'm still doing my berries and I haven't done the sugar.
so they'll catch
Wait,
up.
I'm behind Lulu. Wow.
Well, you need to,
Wait a
you need to
second.
slow
Who's got
down.
product?
Suzanne's behind Lulu. When's that happen?
I
Yeah,
know.
come on, guys.
I'm just teasing. So,
This
Um,
lady has a temper. I can see that already. She's ready to go and she's not gonna let you stop her. No? Okay,
No.
so we need to follow afterwards.
yeah,
and do
Ingeborg says,
translation.
what do you call it? Don't let me stop you from cooking.
Okay, we're moving on to kringle. This one is more technical. The first layer we're doing is pie crust-esque. The top layer is cream puff-esque. All right, so it's gonna be a 2-layered Danish pastry. So basically, we're gonna start. I got my 9x13, very well used
Cookie
cookie
sheet,
sheet.
yeah.
Everyone got that ready?
It's like, so just go.
I'm gonna use a food processor for the beginning because it is like a pie crust. And if you know anything about pie crust,
It's a lot of hand mixing if you have to do it by hand.
it's hand mixing, but you don't, again, want to overmix because if you soften the butter too much, you don't get that leavening layers of pie crust that and make it crisp and flaky. If you overmix it, you'll have a very dense, like pizza crust, you know. So there's a fine line of undermixing, overmixing.
And I always do that fine. I always go over the fine line just to let you. So
Yeah.
I will learn
So
something
resist your impulses.
to
Here we
keep
go.
going.
So there's a cup of flour,
So- And you want like cold butter, right?
It doesn't have to be. This isn't a prize-winning pie for the fair. This one's a little more forgiving.
I don't know if I'd
I
want to
need I
enter
need to
pie
interrupt.
against all the grandmas. It's like,
Okay, so half
Quick
stick of
question.
butter, which is.
oh,
like
you
half-
didn't even chop it
wait,
up.
half cup
Quick
butter, wait.
question, quick
No,
question.
1 second, 1 half.
Oh, quick question. How long are we setting the timer for the whatever's?
30 minutes, but
She's
we're
guessing.
not, but you gotta check and guess. We just don't know.
How
We
much?
don't know.
Yeah.
This is where you just have to gauge it.
So
but
you're
we'll-
what,
We'll
15
check
minutes?
together.
30 minutes guessing.
30, but it could be more, it could be less.
It matters how wet your berries are and how moist your milk is. I don't know.
So if I put the timer on for 25 minutes for the first check, is that good?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'm ready to make the pie mix. It's just
So
butter,
everybody
flour.
I've seen with pie, they always chop the butter like in little pieces.
I'm not adding the water yet.
So
All
This
right.
thing can be,
Can you go
that's one of
over
those.
what you got?
That's
in
like
the-
mine. It's like an antique.
yes, this is inherited. This is inherited. The recipe is inherited.
Really? It's like you're
Sugar is inherited.
no, you're passing down your family stuff, huh?
Can
Okay,
you go over what you have in the food processor again?
1 cup flour, half cup butter,
And
and
it's
that's it.
cold butter?
And-
Doesn't matter.
And she didn't chop the butter up. She just like she broke
Well,
the stick in
I'm
half.
not adding the water yet.
Right.
So
But
the beauty of a food processor, it does it for you.
I just see a lot of people who do pie crust and they chop the butter in these little fine little pieces, and so it makes it much easier and just like
If you're doing it by hand. Yeah.
Okay.
One cup flour and how much butter?
half cup.
Which is basically 1 stick of butter.
And it is in the chat also, but
1 stick butter.
I can't look at that to cook
Oh.
and all that, so that's why I'm.
So
Okay.
1 cup flour?
1 cup flour, half cup butter, which is equivalent to 1 stick. Don't get too hung up on the temperature.
What about salted or unsalted butter in this case?
We don't care.
This
If you're watching your sodium, great. Otherwise, bring on the salt.
is just like, so this is actually 3 ingredients, but she hasn't
No.
put the water in yet.
This is just the butter flour. I'm gonna mix in the food processor to get the grainy, like pea, like blobs. Then I'll add the water just enough to.
So we're
kinda
looking for
moisten it.
pea-like blobs,
Yeah, so here I go, pea like blobs.
just like. this.
And you can pulse.
Little powder is coming out from somewhere,
Yeah.
but I don't know where. But
All right, I'm gonna add in,
how old do you think that mixer is?
I don't know. But we're adding in a tablespoon of water, but I'm doing teaspoon at a time. 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon. Or is it 4?
3.
No.
I used to think it was 2 forever, so that was the other direction. So you just put 3 teaspoons of water in there.
Yep. Okay, it almost formed a ball. I'm stopping before it forms the ball.
There you go. It's like,
I think I'm gonna put it-
So 3 tablespoons of water.
no.
Oh my God.
Okay,
I
haven't added water. How much?
Teaspoons, just add it slowly until it adds becomes a ball. You might not need all of it. Right. So 1 tablespoon of water, but you add it in teaspoons slowly because you might not need it all. Anybody doing it by hand or everybody in a processor? 'Cause- Yep.
So mine's kind of a softball. Is this what, I've never made pie crust before.
Don't overmix it.
Don't
Don't overmix
She
it.
said,
Does
don't
that-
make it until it gets to a
Don't
ball.
worry.
Does
So is
that-
everyone at the mix stage
There
of
you go.
these 3 ingredients? It's
So
not
how
about-
how does mine look? Is that soft enough?
I don't see.
Well, okay, we're gonna move on.
Yep, that's
This-
perfect.
So yes, there's still flour in here, but I'm going to gather it as a ball with my hand, okay?
And
I
so you
don't
don't have
wanna
it very
overmix it.
mixed at
I'm
all.
gonna just place it right here, okay?
You mixed
Can
it as
everyone
little.
see this?
Oh, no, move it that way a little bit. There you go, right there.
Okay, I carefully dumped it out. in a-
Carefully.
Yeah, out of the food processor. You can't overmix this. I'm trying to tell you all, like, don't.
It still
overmix
has dried
It
stuff
still
in.
has dry, see?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
I'm
actually
gonna
mixed
kinda
it as
gather it.
least little as
So
possible.
it's kind of an odd shape because I'm gonna hack it in 2. Ready? I hacked it in 2, so now I got 2 balls. Anyone laughing?
I did.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna pick up all the extra little gooby gobbies. Okay, does everyone have 2 balls?
No, I'm lining my pan.
She says she doesn't have 2 balls yet.
I'm still
Everyone-
putting aluminum foil on my pan.
Yep, so
Everyone's
you're
safe
good.
when they got, everyone's good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna put 1 ball over here, 1 ball over here, and we're gonna make 2 linear strips here,
okay.
okay? So we're gonna, with our hands, this is where we wanna press,
But are you still being pretty gentle with it? You're not
Yes,
really
but you're
rough.
gonna have to kind of, so try to make 2 long snakes. And then we're gonna flatten the snake out.
It's interesting to me, you don't have it all mixed up. You still have some dry powder. It
Yeah,
doesn't
because
matter.
my hands are gonna do the work.
Got it. You were
Um,
literally, when you mixed it in the
can everyone
processor.
see how I doing pat, 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 pat. And I go from the center and pat,
Oh, so you're actually like,
pat, pat, pat. I go from the center, pat, pat.
you're like swiveling your hand
Yeah,
a little
I'm
bit.
rocking the material from the center out linearly to either side. So try to keep them skinny. You can push your edges as you go if you're feeling like things are falling apart. Pat, 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 pat.
I love this because I always completely and totally overmix my dough. So I
Well,
like,
you're gonna mix, you're mixing it a lot right now.
right. But I
With
like,
your fingers.
I always thought I had to mix all the powder up and you didn't. So
So is
that's,
everyone seeing how this is coming along? We're not done yet.
Yeah.
This is the art of Danish puff pastry, is creating this foundation where we're gonna put this second layer of a cream puff on top. Okay, so you don't want it too thin, you don't want it too thick. Okay, so we're gonna, this is where you're going from the center out.
and you're just slowly pushing it.
Slowly.
Now, are you only pushing it long or are you pushing it wide too? Looks
I'm
like you're doing
pushing
both.
it
Both ways.
long, but in the process, it's gonna
It's
push
wide.
wide. And we don't want them touching.
No.
We're basically gonna take it as much as we can without seeing through it. Don't get it too thin. I don't know. It's like I said, it's like a pie crust, you know, kind of thin.
Yeah, it looks pretty thin, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
And then
mean,
just make sure your edges kind of are thin, just so they're strong.
so do you want the edge a little thicker than the center?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
No, it basically, I mean, it's gonna be different everywhere. You just don't want it where it's falling apart. And if it is, just tuck it in, remash it. That means you probably have some dried parts.
But in the process of you doing that, all the dried stuff disappeared. Because you had dried flour before when you start.
That's it.
Yep. So now I
Yeah.
know, because when I mix pie crust, I always make sure all that dried stuff is mixed up. Now, yep.
Yeah.
All right.
But layers. If you look under a microscope, like layers of flour, but flour, but flour, but flour, but flour,
Really?
but that's what you want.
Yeah.
You have layers. You don't want flour, butter.
You actually don't want it mixed.
More fat.
I think I use too much water because mine's kind of soft and doughy.
Mine's soft and doughy too.
Just like
It
too
looks
much
like
water. Yeah.
this. Is that okay?
Say what?
They
There's
both,
a cup of flour, half cup of butter, and a tablespoon of water. That's it.
yeah, both of them think theirs are too wet. So Just-
Can I see yours? Oh,
I'll fill it up. So, all right,
Oh.
I'll spotlight you.
boy, I like that. Those look great. Those look great. You need to thin them out more to take up the whole pan. Yours look great. They look
So
great.
How thin should they be?
They're beautiful. Those are beautiful. Those
How
are,
thin
is there
should they
another
be?
one? Worried? Or, no, just tell her, just keep mashing them till they're pretty thin.
There you go.
I think yours look fabulous.
It's like,
I mean, I would be more
I-
worried if it was too dry.
oh, okay.
I'd be more worried.
And for me, I don't,
Like,
I'm not very good at, I feel like I'm not very good at baking because I feel like
okay,
it's so technical.
it's not. It's not. I'm gonna take a peek at the Webauwaca. Oh, it's looking good. It's done.
I think that added 5 minutes to the baking
Oh,
time.
okay. Let's go. That's what matters.
What do you think? That added 5 minutes to the baking time?
All right, so this is gonna set aside, and now a teeny bit more technical. We're gonna mix the other layer.
Oh,
So we're done with the food processor. Now we're gonna move to the stove top. Okay,
that's the creamy layer. Well, let's see if I have to get closer or not, but I think it'll be fine. If you're on the burner on this side, I think you'll be fine.
I could tell my balls weren't even, because one is more easy getting bigger and the other one's like.
It's like she didn't feel like her balls were even. What do you
That's
call it?
fine.
That
That's fine.
one of them came out
That's fine.
better than the other, but
Yeah,
if you look at
these-
yours,
these
yours
are-
are different
they're
shapes.
different.
Yeah.
They're still gonna be equally as yummy.
It's like,
So I'm actually not using the food processor anymore. I'm not using this anymore. So I didn't even need these.
so
I didn't need any.
cream level. So this is what you said. It says creamy vanilla. No, that's, no,
Should we go through, make sure we have the, because we're gonna need to be really prepared. We're gonna need to have all your ingredients close by for this next part.
so this is what
Because
you
this
call
is
the
a-
topping.
A cream puff topping and the timing of you mixing it matters. So
So I'm
let's
showing,
go over what's next.
I'm showing 1/2 cup butter, 1 cup water, 1 teaspoon almond extract, 1 cup all-purpose flour, and 3 eggs.
Can you go a little faster?
Can you go faster?
Oh my God, I thought I was going too fast.
I think she was joking.
Oh,
I hope she was joking.
Very much so. I'm still trying to clear a spot to get.
I'm
to
hard.
the-
Make sure everyone's ready with their.
All right, so
Okay, what size pan? How big of a,
It's this pan.
no, for
Oh.
making the topping.
to get to the stove? I'm at the stove now. Well, sort of.
Probably just a regular size.
It doesn't have to be,
Like a
It's like a
saucepan?
2-quart.
it does not need to be large at all, but not too tiny. But this honestly, something like this.
Like a, that's probably a 2-quart.
Doesn't say.
Like, it's like,
I don't even. 2.5 quart.
uh-oh.
Close.
No, I was just like, so this, the
I
topping
can
is
do it on this.
1/2 cup butter,
You might need
1
to-
cup water.
you might need to come
Yeah.
back
We
when I'm
will.
doing it.
What order are we putting in? Are we melting the butter first?
Just collect everything.
We're gonna make sure everyone's on board with a non-stick kind of spoon and a saucepan. And then I just want to make sure everyone's got their ingredients accessible.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
there's an
one,
intermission right now, girl. You just need to slow down for a moment. There's nowhere that says girls can pick up with your speed.
so we've got,
Okay, so we have half cup butter. Am I too close?
oh,
Am
I
I
thought
too
you
close?
said 1 cup, 1/2 cup?
1/2 cup butter is 1 stick. 1 cup water, so have your measuring cup and water. And then, did everyone get almond extract?
Yes.
Great. And then, does everyone
So-
have their flour accessible?
And then tell the chickens to lay 3 eggs real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna go tell the chickens, hand it over.
Just like,
How much
Did you-
flour?
It's going to be 1 cup flour. Don't mix anything yet. I just want to make sure everyone's got everything together.
What about 1 cup?
I just want to make sure everyone's ready, as this will be a timing issue of stirring.
Okay, so 1 cup flour, 1/2 cup sugar,
sugar.
1/2 cup butter.
Okay. I'll go over it again. 1/2 cup butter, 1 cup water, 1 teaspoon almond extract, 1 cup all-purpose flour, 3 eggs. So it looks
Just
like,
have them, everything accessible.
did you have that funny shaped egg?
No, I cool. I
So.
have a method.
Oh,
I go
oldest
oldest
egg. Yeah. I thought you might want to show them the funny egg.
So I have my eggs here pre-cracked, ready to go. I have my 1/2 cup butter. I have my almond extract. I have my flour ready. Okay, and I'm gonna get my cup of water ready. I just want everyone to have everything nearby.
I'm cracking my eggs as we speak.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm still gonna get a cup of water.
So this is
All
like
right.
the creamy topping,
Cream puff.
cream puff topping.
You ever have a Claire?
Yeah.
cream puff? It's
I
kinda
didn't,
like a-
I didn't know it was so simple. I mean, it's,
Is everyone ready to rock and roll?
I'll try to keep up.
I
So-
don't think they're up to par.
so-
We need to give a minute intermission here. That is too
Minute
quick.
intermission.
Well, what I want everyone to start to do is put their stick of butter, half cup. Butter in the saucepan. I want you to put your cup of water. For those of that are like hot up, just put it on low. We need to melt the butter in the water.
So you put the butter, the water, and then turned it on.
So here's the butter and the water in the saucepan. Can everyone see it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna heat that. So once that gets to a rolling boil, we're gonna remove it and quickly stir in the cup of flour and the little bit of almond extract, and we're gonna stir vigorously and put it back on low heat for 1 minute until it forms a ball. It's gonna be super sticky. It's gonna form a ball like magic. Then we throw the eggs in, still beat it, and remove it from heat, and then we're gonna put it on top of this high crust layer.
And I thought there'd be sugar in it.
We're topping with a glaze.
Oh, so that's where the sweetness
Yes.
comes. Okay.
And this is, again, you can adjust your sweetness, just like with the other one, you don't have to put that much sugar in, and same with this one, you don't have to put that much glaze if you're sweet sensitive.
Just like,
All right, so everyone has water and butter boiling.
and you have it on a really low heat
I
or
have it on low
medium.
because I want to make sure everyone's caught up.
But
Is there anyone, I mean, mine's still melting, of course.
Yeah, mine's melting. I just changed pans
Yeah,
into
I
a
mean,
larger
it's still-
saucepan.
This is, usually you can get this going while you're cracking the eggs and getting everything else ready. I just wanted to make sure everyone had the ingredients ready. Yeah. So watch.
That's where I'm at.
never-
So, okay, can we talk about the technique that's coming up? Because I have a pan that I don't use any metal on. So when you say we've got to hit it vigorously, maybe I should transfer all this to,
No. she's got a nonstick spoon.
oh, I got one of those. It
Yeah.
just seems like it's a little tiny, but,
What is she? Oh, she has a metal.
She has a pan she doesn't want to use metal on.
but yeah, I got one of those
Get
spoons.
another, get a spatula.
Yeah, got it. All right.
Yeah.
Try a wooden spoon, wooden spoon.
No,
Wooden spoon.
I've got a
Oh.
spoon like that that
I know my mom and aunt use wooden spoons with this recipe.
I guess I could use wooden.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I
Uh,
still mess with my pastry? Or is it supposed to be like
Yeah,
a
you
rest?
can keep smoothing it out and then, yeah.
Alright.
Just make sure the edges don't get too
And don't
thin again.
touch each other.
Yeah,
So
you can keep pushing your pastry out. And that is actually something when I make it, I'm getting that going while I'm
Yeah.
doing that.
so how
I'm just
long
trying to go step
how
by
long does
step.
this take? Because you have 4 minutes on your thing
Oh, I
in the oven.
This is gonna take a little bit.
Because about halfway through, your alarm's gonna go off on the oven.
Yeah, we can peek at the Webauwaca now. Yeah.
Oh, it's starting to
it
smell.
needs more. Tell them I'm gonna add another 15 minutes on the Webauwaca.
Okay. What is it supposed to look like? Just caramelized top? It's a technical term, huh?
Thanks. So I peeked on the Webauwaca, definitely adding another 15 minutes. My stove does not hold temp the greatest, so I don't really.
I
go-
told you
I don't
you'd have
really
to
go-
add time just for
No,
opening it in
this
the middle.
whole- The stove is screwed up. So I can't really go by strict temp and time. I just always have to look and just see when it's done.
Yeah, as most cooks do.
Yeah, stoves got really expensive lately. And the part for this, I don't even know what it is.
So,
So I'm still melting. You want your butter boiling. So, okay.
all right.
Webauwaca, is everyone melting butter and water?
Like it.
Mine's boiling.
It is?
Yep.
Turn hers down a little bit to a rolling simmer.
Okay.
Yes.
Rolling simmer.
We'll just, I just want to know if everyone's, I don't want her to overboil. So turn it down a tad if it's super boiling.
All right.
How many people do we have?
We just have two cooking along. We're
Oh, good.
trying to keep up.
Okay. So one's boiling, one's not boiling, and I'm not boiling. Yeah. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, so once your butter and water is boiling, we're gonna add a cup of flour and stir vigorously with
Chutzpah.
chutzpah.
You have to want to spit. Chutzpah.
So everyone's got water or butter. I'm almost there. You want to-
Better
you wanna
what?
bring the camera over this? Let's get some more.
Okay.
And how long do you stir it for?
Well, we want your, oh, is that better?
I'm looking straight down.
Okay, so here's our water, butter. I'm getting this, I want it to boil a little bit. I'm not, and then we're gonna add, we need that heat. You need the heat.
To cook the flour.
I am going to throw in my cup of flour. Okay, this is where everyone's gonna stir vigorously. You wanna cook that gluten, but you don't. Okay, it's gonna get kind of weird, okay? Okay, remove it from heat and you can turn that heat off, okay? So see
It's like
this?
mashed potatoes.
It looks like mashed potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep stirring. Okay, I'm gonna throw in a little of that almond extract. We are at one, I don't know.
Teaspoon.
Yeah, it's just one teaspoon.
Oh, one, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. One
You were gonna do that anyway. Why'd you look?
I know. I need to follow the. Okay, stir vigorously. Yeah.
Now it's like,
I'm gonna put it back on low heat. I'm gonna put it back on low heat, okay? And I'm stirring for a minute. Now, this is about cooking the gluten and, making it puffy. This is what this is about. So low heat for a minute. It will form a ball.
now I know why most women are so like relaxed. They do a lot of vigorous work. Huh?
Okay, it's David.
That looks like hard work.
It's all right.
That's the same motion you make doing Play-Doh, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna turn that heat off and I'm gonna add the eggs. I'm gonna do, if you can do one egg at a time, great. Okay, can everyone see this? Now it's gonna kind of like, you got the egg part and the batter part and you're like, oh, this is never gonna mix. Don't worry, it will. All right. Do you wanna,
Even
At
more
what
I'm
temperature? What temperature do you have your, oh, you're holding it up. as
I'm
you-
off the heat. Off the heat. And then we're mixing in the eggs.
So you only put it on the heat for 1 minute and then took it back off.
Yeah, just to cook the gluten of the flour. Oh. Look. It was only one cup flour. Yeah,
Yep, that's all.
uh-huh.
This recipe.
This seems very, okay, but just keep mixing it.
It seems very creamy.
I know.
I'm telling you, your eggs are
I
like,
think my eggs are too.
are bigger than usual. I don't think they're bigger, but they
Yeah.
just, because they're your own eggs, they're just much more creamy.
Well, it does look creamier than I wanted. I am gonna add a little flour, but I don't want to. But I'm going to. I'm going to. I have to. It has to be a little thicker.
Is this
Oh,
a shoe
boy.
pastry?
Finally spilled some flour. I was like, what kind of baking is this?
Yeah. It's pretty hot.
Is this a traditional shoe pastry?
Shoe pastry? I don't know.
Shoe
She said, you said there's a Danish pastry.
Danish. Oh, yeah.
Because this is
No,
similar
she
to
said
a
like a
shoe
shoe
and then
I don't know what a
CHOUX shoe pastry.
I don't know.
I don't even know. What that
She doesn't know what that is.
Okay.
is.
Right.
Does it mean Danish? Is she a
Well,
Danish?
You know, that is something very similar we have in Germany, and it's called Brandteig.
Rundteig in German. Did I say it right, Ingeborg?
Yeah,
So,
Okay, so we still have the oven at 350, right? Okay. This unfortunately might go beyond it. Okay, see how I'm pouring like this? I don't
Okay,
wanna
mine,
overdo it.
mine's way thicker. So what did, how
That's
did,
great. You're lucky. Mine's really thin.
I think
You're fine. You're
Here's
fine.
mine. Here's
You're
mine.
fine.
I-
I'm just
Yeah,
going
that's
down the
better.
center, being careful because mine's pretty runny.
Is yours like this, Lulu?
mine's, let me see. Yeah,
yeah, both of theirs are like mashed potatoes.
That's fine.
mine's real creamy.
Great,
That's how it's supposed to
great.
be.
Do you see how I'm pouring it on top of this crust? we
Yeah,
made?
there's no way. So am I like molding it on there? Cause mine's like Play-Doh.
Just, you're gonna have to blob it and then mush it across and spread it with your fingers.
Cool. I
can do
love
that.
playing with my food.
She's like playing with her food. Yeah.
What?
I think
No,
that's,
it's not the end of the world if it goes beyond the pie crust. Perfectly
How
fine.
thick
This
should
is
the layer
actually
be?
The runniest I've ever had it, but it's gonna be.
half up your portions.
I think. In the past, did you
Hey,
make it
if
with
it's-
store-bought eggs or your own,
Probably.
It's okay if it's warm.
if it's warm?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hot, actually.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yep. this
How
is like
thick
a
should the
teeny
layer
pie.
be?
I mean, you're gonna bake it.
We're still gonna bake it. Oh, wow.
Or how thick should the layer be, Leah?
As,
Oh, what?
as thick as you want it.
Just use the material to the perimeter of your pie crust.
Okay.
Mine's definitely clearly gonna run over, but
Yep, yours,
mine's gonna be a little different. It's not gonna be perfect. Yours will probably turn out better than mine. You know, I'm just gonna cut it.
So the shoe pastry is the type of pastry that you use to make eclairs with,
Yes, 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 yes. Correct.
which I've never made before, so I'm very excited about this.
Good. So I'm moving my Webauwaca over. So now we have Kringle, or sorry, Danish puff pastry.
but you call it Kringle.
So let's not get into that.
Okay.
Danish puff pastry is in there. And then Webauwaca is in there. So that's it. You guys have time to chat and clean up and
Well, wait a
One
minute,
second.
wait a minute. What happens? I'm still putting my,
Okay.
so I have,
we're gonna-
my other thing's still in the oven.
Right, they're both in the
Yes,
oven.
yes. So this new thing is gonna bake for 1 hour. And just keep an eye on your Webauwaca.
Hers is very,
Love it. That's usually how it is. You're
Lulu, we're
doing
showing you.
perfect. I think my eggs were too big. That's the
think my
runniest
eggs
I've ever
did
had.
not.
Lulu, that was great. Perfect.
Okay, but I didn't know this was gonna take an hour to cook. I'm supposed to.
Did you divide it half over each, Lulu? Yes. Okay. She's got a half. Yeah, perfect. She's doing great. That's it.
Quick question, do I want to use all the innards? Like, do I, because this seems gonna, like, it's gonna be real custardy, like way more than, like, this is like an inch thick on top.
That's okay. Honestly, I'd rather mine have been like yours.
You want it nice and thick, yeah.
Yeah, because I am afraid mine's gonna just.
Okay,
Run
can
over.
I travel with this and then put it in somebody else's oven? Because I didn't know it's gonna have to cook for
I
an hour.
think yours could, but Leah's couldn't because hers was runny. But yours looks like
That's a
you
good
could.
question. If you're gonna go take it to bake at someone, I'm sure it'd be fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great. And then all we're gonna do at the end after it bakes is put a glaze over it.
And that
And
glaze is,
with baking, we can't eat these things like right away. You know, it's
You have to
best
let 'em
these things
cool.
cool.
So
So-
what does it take to make the glaze?
So the glaze is basically powdered sugar and softened butter. I usually melt mine, vanilla, milk, and I sometimes add even more almond extract to give it that almond. And then you sprinkle sliced almonds on top. So it will look like, you see this picture here? It will look like this.
Okay.
Can't see it.
Is that?
We can see
It's
it,
hard
the
to see
shadow.
it, but, yeah,
Oh,
but, so, does anybody have any questions about this? I mean, the Webauwaca will come out in a few minutes, but
so there's no sugar in this huge thick layer. It's just gonna taste like what, flour and almond and butter
it'll be just very creamy,
and
like it,
cream.
you know.
it's like a
keep
sweet
checking.
bread, you
No,
know,
we got a while.
2-layer sweet bread.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of something, a Mexican
but
pastry.
you're covering it with 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, so it'll be sweet.
Oh, okay, much,
Once
So is
it's baked, once it's baked and cool, we glaze it, kind of, you know, that's where the Danish puff pastry comes.
okay, getting back to what's in the oven, what's it supposed to look like when it's done?
You're gonna have to look at the-
It'll have to be, you know,
Here.
not that one, the other one she's talking about.
Oh,
It'll be not mushy, right?
oh yeah, it's gotta be cooked.
And so,
It'll be like a cooked bar. A berry bar. Not a berry.
or
The other one, it's
the
gonna be.
Webauwaca, I finally was comfortable saying,
Webauwaca.
just like, it. So,
I'm gonna add another 20 minutes, but tell them my oven.
it just changed the temperature. Now it says it's 305.
Webauwaca
That's not
is
accurate,
lucky.
so, but. So,
I haven't done.
My kitchen is a disaster more than normal.
really good.
Good.
I was just like, we made it through like 90% of it
It's gonna
without,
be at least 20 minutes for my Webauwaca. It's gonna be an hour.
yeah, so, all right.
But 2:30. Yeah. This is your intermission now.
Anybody have any questions?
This is the intermission. This is where you can do dishes, take a nap.
Take a nap. You better set an alarm.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
It's a Webauwaca. It's all Webauwaca.
Just like, but
Mm.
you forgot to introduce your supervisor.
Oh,
We just heard thunder and the dog got scared. But
that's it. Or you can moderate.
That's the hardest part for me when I'm baking is not checking regularly. So, but does anybody have any final questions? And I'll pause the recording.
Did we take the thing out of the oven yet?
It matters. Yours could be baked. Leah said that hers got about another 20 minutes.
Whoa, and mine went in after hers?
Well, she's having a problem with her oven, she said.
Yeah, the temperature doesn't go.
It's Webauwaca, the oven. It's
Okay.
Webauwaca.
Well, let me show you a picture, or let me show it to you, and
Yeah.
I mean, does it brown on the top?
Yes, yes, let's look. Let's
Okay,
see
so
yours.
mine's not brown yet.
Like, so when you tap it, is it wiggly? Like tap it. Ooh, is it feeling pretty solid?
Oh, that's
Ooh,
pretty good. It just needs to
girl.
caramelize a little
Yeah,
bit.
maybe give it like 5-10 minutes, but pull it out after that. That's looking good.
Okay,
I'm jealous.
and then, and I used the full 3/4 cup sugar, honey, because
You go,
I'm
girl.
the opposite,
That-
I'm the opposite of sweet inverted. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
you know, that and garlic, I have no problem with.
I
Yeah.
just like, all right. I'm gonna wrap it up.
well, are you gonna do more chitty chat? Or are we done? Oh.
Well, plus, are you gonna can you make the glaze early, but you gotta make the glaze
Yeah.
right when you wanna put it on top?
No, you can make the glaze
Let's-
now.
okay,
and
let's do
then,
that.
Oh, yeah, that is powdered sugar. And I melt like 2 tablespoons butter, vanilla, and then more milk. And then it can just set aside when you're ready.
As a dip for regular bread.
So,
I've done that before.
okay, so my question about the glaze, since I threw that pastry in the fridge for now, and I'm gonna let it just chill until I can get to my daughter's house where I'll bake it. The glaze, is it a glaze that turns hard?
I think you dip it into it. That's what I understood.
It's just liquid where you just pour it over and then it hardens.
Okay, so I would probably want to wait to make my glaze.
Yeah, like,
And make sure you pour it on stuff when it's cool, because I know if you put glaze on something that's hot, it will never harden. It will just stay gooey and messy.
don't put it on it when it's hot. So, yeah, so basically everything's got to bake cool, put glaze on, because if you put the glaze on while it's too warm, it'll melt everywhere.
Okay, that's good advice to have.
Yeah.
on-
And then you sprinkle chopped nuts or sliced almonds on top while it's somewhat wet. You know,
And
and
then
then
it'll
just
stick,
let
yeah.
it go. It's gonna be hard not to dig into it
It's just like
because it's got a cool, just like a cookie or a cake.
it's just
Yeah, that's the important thing about this and
both of them,
Zoom.
yeah.
Zoom meetings, but yeah, I promise you will love them. You could probably pull that Webauwaca out, the one Lulu's, and just set it to cool.
Yeah, because your oven just quit doing temperature and you have to start it over.
Webauwaca mean? That's a great word. What is?
What does
Webauwaca?
Webauwaca mean? Instead? I don't know.
You're gonna have to Google Morivian Church. I don't know. It's been, my cousins and my brother don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We thought it was Native American, but now we figured out it's Monrovian, which is Eastern Europe. So we don't really know.
4 minutes to brown up. Now, do you eat that just as it is? That doesn't get anything
The
else?
Webauwaca, you want it to cool too.
Oh yeah, every baked good you want to cool and set before you cut into it.
But nothing else goes on it. It's its
Nope,
own
that's
thing.
it. You could have it with ice cream, vanilla ice cream.
Or just this thing called the glaze where you just dip it in.
No, because it already has enough sugar on it.
It's just like, just pour glaze on everything. I was like, all right, I'm gonna wrap it up. Leah, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. I'm sorry. it just,
So you're
What
fine.
are you starting?
I don't know, I felt like, yeah. it was
It's like- You were, yeah, just like, but that's how you normally cook.
Or forces me to do this, so that's right.
No,
Just like-
you did fine and.
Well, last year he said do more desserts, because I thought I had to keep it healthy and vegan.
Just like,
So this year we're going full board dessert. But you
Nice.
can adjust sugar levels if you're conscious, of that.
Lulu, you want to take yours out and show it, or just show us it?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to-
I just find to play some music.
I'll use a little less butter next time because the butter's just like pooling.
That's okay. That's what it's supposed to do.
We're coming to your
So-
house.
Yeah, let it cool now. Just don't touch it. As long as it's done. Yep, that's
So
okay about the
this is
butter.
blackberry and
Beautiful.
blueberries.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it.
Yeah,
It
I
looks
think
great.
next
It's
time. I'll
perfect
put
for
more-
like breakfast and like with coffee. It's perfect.
Sounds good.
Yes.
All right.
Looks
Delicious. Thank
good.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.